On their release article, they even said this piece is designed for any punk rock princess. And I'm like, I'm definitely not one of those because I love my jewelry classic and very traditional in that way. So I never really explored this collection until recently. I got a chance to take a closer look at this piece. Surprisingly, I have found a lot of things that I didn't expect to be in this piece. I am thoroughly impressed by all of these little findings. Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. I am so excited because it's been a minute that I've done another jewelry review, and today's topic is going to be the very ever popular and very edgy new addition to the Cartier jewelry family, which is the Clash de Cartier. I don't want to say Clash de Cartier every time because it's like such a long word, and I just call it the CDC. And if you guys have paid attention, I have also reviewed Collier de Chain from Hermes, so it's kind of interesting that both of these brands have a CDC piece in their fine jewelry lineup. I remember when this collection launched, I was like, I really don't know how I feel about it. And I think on their release article, they even said this piece is designed for any punk rock princess. And I'm like, I'm definitely not one of those because I love my jewelry very classic and very, kind of traditional in that way. So I never really explored this collection until recently. I got a chance to take a closer look at this piece. Surprisingly, I have found a lot of things that I didn't expect to be in this piece. I am thoroughly impressed by all of these little findings. So today I want to walk you guys through this collection. It is really unique and really new, as this collection was launched in 2020. There are only 2 color tones in this collection. For the regular size, it is only offered in the rose gold and the white gold. There is also a smaller size that is only available in rose gold, which is a really bold move by the brand because they're not making the tricolors that everybody loves, which is the white gold, rose gold, and yellow gold. And as we all know, rose gold is something that is widely accepted and loved by a lot of people. Maybe you're someone who loves yellow gold, no offense, but rose gold is something that is very trendy and people are loving it. So for this particular collection, Cartier did not launch any yellow gold pieces, which is just caught me by surprise, but it is a very beautiful piece indeed. And I'm here to share with you guys 5.5 things that I did not expect. If you're new, my name is Vivian and I'm the host for My First Luxury. I do a lot of in-depth luxury reviews on the channel, so if this is a new video, I do have a Cartier list that is there for you guys. Maybe you want to check out more videos after this. So without further talking, let's get started. So my first impression about this collection is that it is very edgy and it's got a brand new look. So I never really paid attention, and also the price point for these pieces are relatively high. As I mentioned earlier, there are 2 models, which are the 2 sizes that is offered in this lineup. The smaller model is 6,600 and the regular size is 8,750. So this one I have on hand today is actually the regular size, which is the $8,750 one, and that's one of the reasons why I did not have any additional interest. Despite that, I own the Love bracelet and the Just on Clue, but now looking at it, I do think that this is a really well made piece, and that's why I'm going to break it down for you. The smaller size is also more expensive than the brand's most iconic regular size Love, and also it is a little bit below the Just on Clue, but it is something that is so new and Cartier calls it the iconic jewelry piece. So I didn't really find that justifiable, being that this is a brand new addition and it is just much more expensive than some of their iconic one. But who knows, now after trying it on and learning about it, I think maybe the price is justified. So the first thing that I didn't expect was the box. And if you guys can see, when I open the box, it is in a really nice presentation. In the previous videos where I did the Love bracelet and Just on Clue reviews, the box has a different kind of inserts and a display than this particular one. And I do think usually Cartier use this kind of box for watches or other pieces that is more expensive. Nonetheless, I do think it's really nice to have this kind of a cushiony presentation to store this piece instead of the typical one for the love bracelet or for the just un clou where it's not the best kind of display for your jewelry piece. I do think this is definitely unexpected. Thinking about it, the price is kind of like asking to expect more. This one came through. So the first thing is the box. The second thing is the overall appearance and the weight of this particular piece. As I mentioned, this is the regular size, which costs more than this smaller model, and this one is around 8,700 US dollars. It feels really robust, and if you compare this particular one to the love bracelet regular size, this one looks a lot more bolder and bigger, and it also measures differently in size, which I'm gonna get into. When I weighed this piece, this one weighed 38 grams in rose gold, and the love bracelet in size 17 is 32 grams. So there is quite a weight difference between the two, even though the sizes are the same. So this particular piece is heavier than both the regular size love bracelet and the just un clou, which definitely caught me by surprise. But I think it's a good surprise as you're paying more for the material and also the craftsmanship, and that is the second thing that I did not expect on this piece. The third thing is about the design of this particular bracelet, because when I initially saw it in the campaign when it was launched in 2020, I knew that this is not something that I'm going to be adding anytime soon, but who knows, you know, in fashion I do think things change all the time, and I do change my mind and how I like things all of the time under different influences. So with this piece, I was really surprised that all of the little pins are actually loose and it actually rattles, which this reminded me of another music instrument. But it's really cool that it's not a fixed piece. It has all of the little details in there, and each pin is secured in its own kind of socket. So when you wear it, this is actually really comfortable on the wrist. Also, the design of the inner part of the bracelet is kind of like a V-shaped bend. It's polished really, really well, so when you're wearing it on your wrist, no matter how you move it, the inner part that touches your wrist does not feel like it's cutting you off. So there's definitely a lot of design that went into this, and I believe Cartier also shared on their website that this is inspired by architecture, and also it dates back to 1930s of something that the brand did. So every time a big brand launches something, it always recalls a memory of their brand's heritage, and this piece has just that. The next point I wanted to touch up on how comfortable it wears, because it's completely different than the look of this. This is a very, very edgy piece, and you can see that it has all of the pins and all of these little edges. It's very punk rock and edgy, and it's not like an everyday kind of piece of jewelry. So the look can be very intimidating, at least that was my first impression. But when I tried this on, I cannot tell you how comfortable it wore on my wrist. I compared the way it wears and sits on my wrist to the Cartier Love bracelet, and the Cartier Love bracelet I have nothing to complain about, but the design itself, if I were to play it around on my wrist, in certain angles it could potentially cut your wrist a little bit. And also the design of the screws on the Love bracelet are on the inner side, so definitely if you didn't pick the right size, a lot of times it could create impressions on your wrist. And even if you pick the right size like me, I do feel like it still leaves 2 screw marks on my wrist, which I mentioned it's very normal. Just like if you were to wear a watch, on some days your wrist might be more swollen than the other days, so you might get an impression from wearing any jewelry or watches. And for this particular one, there's no additional part where it sticks out on the inner circle of the bracelet, so when you wear it, it actually feels really, really smooth. And that really caught me by surprise again, because it's completely opposite than how this bracelet actually looks. I did get this in size 17, which I thought would be the same size as the Love bracelet, but this one fit a lot bigger on my wrist than the Love bracelet. And I'm going to also show you guys the visual comparison of the Love and this one when they're stacked on top of each other. You can see the circumference of this bracelet is actually bigger than the love bracelet. So I do think sizing is so important in jewelry whenever you're ready to buy them, and I cannot stress enough that I strongly recommend guys to go into a store or anywhere you guys can try on, because a size 17 in love bracelet is not the same as the Just un Clou, and that also applies to the Clash de Cartier, because apparently a size 17 of the Clash is bigger than a size 17 in the love bracelet. So that is something to keep in mind of. Lastly, I have to say what caught me by surprise is I'm actually willing to pay the price that brand had listed for this particular piece. And you might disagree, you might think I'm crazy, but after, you know, wearing jewelry for many years from these big maisons, I do think that this piece is beautifully designed and it's thought after, as all of the details that come together really made sense. I also love the seamless opening of this particular piece, because if I were to just show you this, you're like, how does it open? It's really cute that there is a hidden detail that is on the side of the bracelet where there's actually a hinge, and it's kind of hidden in the way that you cannot really tell by just looking at it, but if you come to the side of it, you can see there's a little cap, and this one little mechanism over here is raised a little bit higher than the rest of the ring, and you can just pop it up, and voila, you can see there's a 3-part that opens up over here, and you can lift that up, which that kind of is like a cap, and then you just press it down, then the hinge unopens, and there you go. You can then put your wrist in there. I do really appreciate the design of this because it's very seamless for how edgy this bracelet is. You know, to come up with a design like this is really brilliant, because you don't want to add additional details to this to change the overall look of this piece. So the price is more than both of their iconic pieces, the love bracelet and Just un Clou, but I do think it is justified. The weight of this particular piece is much heavier than both of those pieces. There had been more materials that's been used on this piece as well. Love that it's rose gold, because personally I do think rose gold fits best on my complexion, and I also think rose gold can work with a lot of different skin tones, so it is something that is very modern and very current. So yeah, I'm very surprised that I end up liking this piece, and I actually don't mind paying for the full price. So basically this is the regular size, and I do think I'm interested to see what the skinnier one looks like. As in, I showed you guys earlier, this regular size Clash de Cartier is bigger than the same size love bracelet. I don't think they make the perfect stack. If you're looking for more of a perfect stack in the situation, this one does fit bigger, and I do think this one should be worn on its own versus stacking. However, that will have to come to conclusion when I get my hands on a skinnier version, but I do think that the price is justified on this particular piece, and I think it is something that you should look into if you have not tried it yet, because I think it's a very interesting piece with really cute and the floating detail. And that's what I really appreciate about these jewelry pieces, is not that it has its own unique look, but all of the details says a lot about the design that goes behind it. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would love if you give this video a thumbs up, because it really means a lot to the channel. And any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.
It's time.